Hi, everybody. I'm Brenda Green with the Be Strong Group, and I'm so excited to be here tonight. Welcome to our next Tuesday chat. Uh, we are so excited to have you all. And this nonprofit, we found it, my husband and I found it on behalf of our son, Braden, who has sickle cell disease. And we took up the initiative of starting these Tuesday chats to address topics that are important to those with sickle cell disease. And a lot of times we found that um, the topics that we discuss helps to educate our community, and they're related to issues that a lot of other people face. So we're so excited to be in a position to host these Tuesday chats, to have you listen and join us, to have you engage with us and ask questions. Um, and to just help us in spreading awareness of sickle cell disease. So, if you were with us a couple of weeks ago, you know that we spoke with some sickle cell warriors. And I told you then that if you don't know a sickle cell warrior, it will be an amazing thing in your life if you were to have met one and to listen to their story is so inspiring. So, tonight, we're going to bring them back because we said we needed a part two. The conversation got very, very fulfilling, and we had a good one. We don't have all of our warriors on tonight, but right now we have Mr. Mario Jenkins. I'm going to add Mario to the stream here, bring him up stage. Hey, Mario.
Hello, good afternoon, good evening. I don't know what to call this right now. It's nighttime. So, hello, everybody.
I know. Thank you, Mario, for joining us again back for part two. The people were asking for more information. So we're so excited that you join us. You know, sickle cell, these are warriors, and so sickle cell does not care what a warrior has planned to do. So but fortunately we Mario is able to join us. Um, and we do and I want to ask Mario a quick question. Mario, are you seeing some delay in my video?
Yeah, you just started buffering just now, right before you said that. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So I just want to be sure. We want to be sure that we get the information to the people. And I see Princess Brown is here. Let me add her to the stream. Hey, Princess, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. I think there's a delay in my video. I'm going to have you two on the screen, and if everybody would bear with me. Um,
How are you doing, Miss Brown?
I'm doing all right in yourself.
We're good. We're gonna
I'm doing
try
better
to get through the
today.
meeting. Oh, Brenda's talking. I guess we better hold that till
well,
later. I
it's
can't
kind of
hear. No, she went back out, but
Yeah.
yeah, last time was painless, so you should be okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't be nervous. I was nervous last time, but
Okay.
I'm a little nervous this time too. But don't act
Yeah,
like
I was
I'm
supposed
not.
to be on, but I have these grandkids and they just be all over the place. So I had to find somewhere I could lock myself up at.
I know the feeling. I know the feeling. So yeah, well, we'll get ready and wait for her to log back in, and then I guess we'll start after that.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna go back on mute so I won't make too much noise for the people.
Okay.
Hey everyone, Brenda sent me a message and said for everyone to please hold on. She's I guess trying to get her stuff straight so she can log back in. So we're gonna
Okay.
hold on until she comes back on.
Okay.
I think so. I am so sorry. Oh my gosh. Ooh, the devil wanted to win, you guys.
Yes, but he wasn't gonna win.
He wasn't going to win. And I talked somebody in getting off the game. So thank you guys. For those of you who are still watching, thank you, thank you, thank you. This Wi-Fi is no joke. Thank you, Spectrum. But we're so excited to have our warriors. This is, this is. I want to share our warriors' stories. I want um, to educate our community. I want you to hear from their mouth because I can share the story, but it's nothing when you're telling your own story. So I know Mario had a chance to kind of tell us about themselves a couple of weeks ago on our last Tuesday chat. Princess, do why don't you come on and introduce yourself to our listeners and tell us who you are, however much you want to share on what type sickle cell you have, and
Mhm.
something you want them to know, just one thing you want them to know.
Okay, well, hi everyone. I'm Princess Brown, 48 years old. I have SS sickle cell. Um, it's been trying times a lot, but I don't let this break me at all. I'm also a grandmother of two. They both have sickle cell, SS sickle cell as well. Um, I have a grandson, 5 years old, from my son, and a granddaughter that's three from my daughter. My both of my kids were trait carriers,
Mhm.
and I just like to let people know that when you do, if you have a parent that has SS, you are a trait carrier. You It's very, very important for you to find out whether your mate carries the trait as well, because these are their first children and they both were born with sickle cell disease, SS. So it's very important, and it's hard for a child to communicate to you the pain that they're in, where the pain is when they are young. So it's very important that you make sure you get these testings done.
Right.
Yes.
So that's an important part, and I think we touched on this last time, Mario, is the importance of knowing your status. The importance of knowing your trait status and the status of your partner that you want to have children with. Um, so you can be well informed before you make that decision to have children. So that's a good point, Princess,
Yes.
to
Yes.
make.
Have that information back then when I was conceived. You just had to figure out what was going on with me. It took them a while before they figured out that I had sickle cell, and they still didn't know what to do then. But it's a lot of different things coming along now to help you out. I guess kind of say help you out with the disease,
Right.
Yeah.
So I know Mario and Gloria shared how old they were when they found out or their parents found out that they had sickle cell disease. You want to share that? Do you remember how
My
old?
mom, well, from her, she told me I was 8 months when she found out that I had sickle cell disease. Yeah, 8 months. But I was in a lot of pain, I guess, young, and she couldn't understand why I was crying so much, just crying, and they didn't understand why. And anywhere from, she said, 8 to 12 months, anywhere in between that, and when they actually figured out that I had sickle cell and what form of sickle cell that I had. And growing up from, let's see, from when they found out, I basically did my whole of my elementary school year in the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah, I did a lot of schooling in the hospital. Middle school, I did a lot in the hospital. I wasn't able to do sports and different things like that. Anything that would shake up the cells back then. So yeah.
Oh, wow. So I know that we talked about Mario and Gloria shared their story. We talked about the age that they found out or their parents found out. and some of the things that stood out in their childhood. Um, and of course, the importance of knowing your status. And one of the topics, a question we got last time that we weren't able to answer or talk more into is that transition period. Can you talk to us about the transition period from pediatric care to adult care? You know, by me listening to you all stories and stories of other adult warriors, I know that there is a huge difference in that care. Um, Mario, do you want to start with anything you want to share about your experience from transitioning to adult care?
Yeah, I'll start because mine kind of took off, right at 18. I think I said before, I'm from Maryland. So, when I graduated high school, I came down to Columbia to go to Benedict College.
Mm.
So I left, everything behind as far as, my mama taking care of me, my mama making appointments and stuff, and all that, and I came where I had to start doing that stuff myself, and I didn't. Um, when I first came, I would um, go to the emergency room, when I had a crisis, and things like that. It took me a while to actually get a doctorate. And those are the faults that I had when I came because I just didn't really know how to, you know, take care of myself at that point, And so I did go down to the school nurse and inform them that I had sickle cell, and I was staying on campus. And and they was like, well, who's your primary, who's your hematologist, who are these doctors that, need to see you on a regular basis so we know that you didn't care that you need. And I told them I didn't have anybody, and so the doctors and nurses down there, they kind of worked with me, and made sure I had my insurance. And back then, when you turned 18, you were off your mama's insurance. So, I was kind of on my own as a sense. So, they had to make sure that I got, Medicaid and stuff like that because I was a college student and I had sickle cell. So they helped me get all of that stuff in order, and also looked up, family care physicians and things like that so I could go and get my, regular visits to the doctor. And from that point on, I kind of stayed with it, making sure that I went and got my checkups and things like that. And that's basically how it started for me, and it was kind of rough those, that first year when I came out of trying to figure out school and, trying to figure out a new area that I didn't know. I just was, just trying to living at that point, and I probably should have. And my mama was like, you need to get a doctor, but I didn't know no way of doing that back then. I was spoiled like a lot of kids are today, and and that stuff wasn't given to me when my mama left. So yeah, so we was, but after I figured that out, I was good to go. And as far as that's as far as that goes. When I turned into like graduated college, I had a more better mindset on things, and I made sure that I had all my hematologists and all my doctors that I needed in check, and I started following all the rules at that point. But when you're kind of young, you kind of don't listen, you half listen, and you kind of find yourself sick a lot. And it was a lot of stuff that I realize now that I made myself sick during college, and and it wasn't just my time, as I like to say it, but it just takes a lot of just a lot of discipline, that I didn't have then, and if I could go back, that would probably be one of the things that I would change is my sickle cell discipline while I was, growing up on campus.
And you touched on a several good things because it wasn't like you could just go to college and that's it. You had to consider the fact that you have sickle cell disease, and to account or accommodate for that as well. So um, I wrote that down. So we're going to come back to that. Um, so, Princess, is there anything you want to share or talk about when it comes to transitioning from pediatric care to adult care? How was that experience for you?
Well, it was pretty much the same as Mario said. I was born in Brooklyn, New York. So by the time I moved here, um, I was like an adult and trying to find, I was basically just going to like a primary care physician, which didn't work that long. I had to find me a hematologist and everything. But I think more so I was in, you become in a stage where you're in denial that you have sickle cell and you want to be like everybody else. So you're like really not doing what you're supposed to do. But I wound up finding me a good hematologist. And the only problem that I said that I had with transitioning from pediatric to adult is when you get sick and you have to go to emergency visits because they treat you different as an adult. Like they think that you're this just there for the pain meds, or they don't know how severe your crisis is, so they have you sitting in a waiting area forever because they don't think that your pain is
We lost your sound, Princess.
someone had called it. Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, that was like the only thing that thing like basically just like the emergency room that gave me the hardest time. So I basically tried to just like take care of myself at home the best that I could, you know, without having to go to emergency room and thinking someone was thinking that I was just coming there for the pain meds.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
So that's one of the difference.
yeah,
I know a lot of times, well, I know in our children's hospital in the clinic, as soon as we walk into the sickle cell clinic for at the children's hospital, we know
mhm.
we're loved. We know our
Yes,
baby's loved.
yes,
We get the good care. Um, you know, Going to the ER may not have always been perfect, but it's improved a whole lot.
yes,
The
it
wait
has.
time is very little for the children. Um, and I've heard it is different for adults. And
It really is.
yeah,
I just, matter of fact, I just came from the ER Thursday night, Friday with my grandson. But the wait time, no problem. They get him in, they get him out. You know, if it's something that he doesn't have to be hospitalized for. But as you say at the children's hospital, they are loved. They will call you to the next day to make sure is there anything you need. You don't get that as an adult. You don't
yeah,
get the same response time as an adult.
right. And that's something, even as an advocate, that's something that we're looking into because it needs to change. And I'm
Yes.
sure Mario can attest to, and we all know it's a matter of life and death.
Yes.
It's not a joke. And I think, Mario, if I'm not mistaken, you guys were talking about how you don't want to go to the ER. That's
No.
it's the last place you want to be, right?
Yeah, because for one, you already know that for one, you're going to be there for a while, depending on how the people feel about you coming in, and and two, they look at you kind of funny. I understand that a lot of people really don't understand sickle cell, even though they might have heard of it in that field, and that's my mindset of it. I try to give them the benefit of the doubt, but that pain scale thing, how you look with the face, and all that, and I'm like, I need to draw another face pass here, and and they'll be like, well, you look okay, your temperature's fine, sit there, and I'm like, I can't sit here, I said I need somebody to do something, and I'm kind of quiet, so I really don't, I'm not really making a lot of noise. So one thing I still do if I got to go anywhere, I try not to go there alone. I got my wife. I take my wife with me now, but before then, I had my aunt, who was a nurse at the time, and she was kind of a bulldog when she went with me, because she knew the talking, the lingo, and what was going on, and she kind of helped bridge that factor that he's not here for that, And that's why I always try to have someone with me at least, just so they can say like, okay, well, at least he won't bring somebody in looking for drugs, and this would be something he would come in on his own, and because I don't like that stigmatism that they give us, and everything, and but once they get you back there and realize, once they take your blood and everything, then they're like, oh, we probably need to get them back there, and then you're like, well, yeah, I tried to tell you that when I came in, but you wanted to see how well I sat and see if I left, or something, because most of them do leave when it's not important, and I think that's some of the waiting period time. But when you sitting there, laid across them hard benches just waiting for somebody to call your name, then they kind of notice you and kind of do what they need to do. But yeah, I can attest to the emergency room, and I hate it, and I do not like it at all.
Yes, neither do I.
Yeah. So tonight, you all, those of you who are listening, we're talking to Mario and Princess. They are both sickle cell warriors. They both have powerful stories, very resilient, and we're just having a discussion to kind of share, with you, and to talk and answer any questions that you may have about their lives. And maybe, yeah, and I think the more we're all educated, the more we can help each other, you know? So if you have a question for Mario or Princess, you could put it in the comments section, and they will be happy to answer them. Um, we do have a mom. I do know this mom, and she's a mom of a warrior. Would you guys? I'm going to show the question or her comment. She said, "I worry about that for Royal. Thank God we have 13 or 14 more years with Dr. Roberts." So her warrior is young right now. Um, but just hearing your story as caregivers of young warriors, it can help us to better prepare as well. So I want to make sure I add that on, that you guys are encouraging to us and you're helpful to us by sharing your story. You can help us to become better caregivers and to help our younger warriors as well. um, any comments to Cherie with the young warrior? Any feedback, Mario or
Yeah,
Princess?
yeah, I would say, if you think that you got a good pediatrician, to keep them, yeah, gain that relationship, build on it, and make it strong. So when the time do come, for your child to graduate high school, they'll be more inclined to give you the best referrals to the best doctors that they know on their team and inside their group, so that they kind of stay with that same type of care. And
Mm-hmm.
so I would say, try to find one. If there aren't the ones, then try to find one that you can stick with for the whole duration, and talk to them, and make sure that they know your child, and everything. And I think that transition to be better that way, if you still in this area at the time, or whatever, when it's time for them to be on their own.
Right. Good point. And Princess, I know you say you have two grandbabies with sickle cell disease,
Yes,
and so a lot of what they're going to go through.
yeah.
Um, so what kind of advice can you give?
Well, definitely, Dr. Roberts is a phenomenal doctor. I love them. That Children's Hospital, but
Yeah.
you definitely have to have also a good support system when you have children warriors as well, because it's not only a lot on the children, it's a lot on the parents, it's a lot on the family. So a great support system is also great. So as they go on and get older, they always know that they have someone there that support, that has their back. You don't want them to be out there, as they get grown, and as they say, they try to railroad you in the emergency room or whatever, but you just have to have somebody there also to advocate for them as an adult as well, to let them know that, hey, they're not here just for drugs. You understand?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a good point. That support system is is very important.
Yes, it
Um,
is.
yeah, because this isn't an easy journey traveling alone, even, with just the caregiver and the child. It's not easy because you need a whole village, you need a team. And the more people that you have around you that loves you or cares for you, or even just know about the illness itself, know what they can do and support, that's so important. And Mario, I know we touched on that as well. You want to share some more about that, about having a strong support system?
Yeah, if you're blessed to have it, that helps with your care a lot, and um, if you can, like for ones that have like little kids now, and everything, if you can have a support system with grandmoms and granddads and aunts and uncles, that helps that kid a lot more, kind of heal and be loved and everything. Like I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for my grandparents and moms and aunts, female cousins, everybody who wanted to come by and just bring me Gatorades or something to drink and everything. I don't know how I would be without that. And I've kind of felt that when I was in college. Even though I have a ton of family here, and when I got sick, I just went to their house and they took care of me. But when sometimes I was on the yard, I didn't want to go, because it was a minor one or something. But I still wanted somebody to come rub this arm for me for a little bit or something, and I just, but I wanted to feel like I'm fine, and I don't want to call them, just because I'm feeling a little sick today, and so I kind of take care of myself. But being like that, when you grow up a little bit, you kind of miss that, but you still got family that come check on you. I tell my auntie I'm sick right now. She'll give me about 3 days to make me feel better, but then all of a sudden she's knocking on my door with food, because it's time for me to start eating again. And that's what she does, and that makes sure that I feel loved and everything. So it's good to have a support system with you, and and for the kids, as long as you're always there with them and helping them, letting them know you understand. You can't understand the pain and don't know what it feel like, but you understand. And as long as they know someone's there with them, they're good to go. I promise they'll be fine.
Oh, absolutely. And that's one of the things we, with through our nonprofit, we want to be sure that we can support each other. We can support our warriors. We can support our other caregivers. And that's one of the things we want to do as well, and reach out. And while I'm at it, hey, Gloria, if you're listening, we're thinking about you. And we'll be talking to you soon, our other warrior, Gloria. Um, so yeah, that's very important, and we can all work together to make sure that that our warriors have support. I mean, even those of us who don't have a chronic illness, life can be tough. Just the regular life can be tough, and we can use our support, our village. Even I can use my village. Um so just imagine, on top of that, dealing with a chronic illness, that adds another level, right, Princess?
Yes, it does. It definitely does. I'm thankful for my support system. You know, like even my mom lives in New York, but if I'm sick, the phone call, just her on the phone telling me to breathe and do different things, it makes me feel so much better. You know, just to know that she's there with me on the phone.
Yeah. So I know we have one of our moms who thinks she's off topic, but you guys are ready for some questions, right?
Yes.
So she's asking, what are your thoughts on the vaccine for kids? And keep in mind she does have a child with sickle cell disease. If you guys want to answer that.
Yeah, I'm, it's so much going on with this stuff. Um, but I would say the first thing, like everyone says, go to your pediatrician and have
Absolutely.
all the talks that you need to have. Go to your hematologist because they may have more blood information that you may need to get, from them, and just make your decision on your own. That's something when it comes to your children's health and your own, that's something that you need to, I guess, try to deal with in-house and everything. And make sure the professionals are talking to you about it, no matter which way you go with it, just make sure that, that you got all the informed information that you possibly can, and just don't, just go off of someone else's things, just make sure that you got all that for you to feel comfortable with yourself and giving it to your kid or not. You just got to make sure you get all the information. And if it's good for you, then I say go ahead and give it to them. And, but if you feel like all the information you got is not weighing it in your weight, then, I guess you have the right not to give it to them.
Yeah. And Princess, before you give your opinion, I want to state, and Mario reminded me, hey everybody, we're talking this evening for our Tuesday chat. Our warriors are sharing their stories. Everything you hear is for educational purposes. So if there's anything specific medically that you need for yourself or your child, please at first consult with your child's pediatrician or their specialist, or your primary care physician or your specialist. But we want to, just conversate and definitely give feedback to your questions and comments. So I wanted to add that. I didn't add that at the beginning. Princess, did you want to comment on that about your thoughts for a vaccine for kids? You don't have to answer if you don't want to.
I really don't have a thought about that because I'm straddling the fence right now. So I really don't have a thought about that part yet.
Yeah. And I can agree with Mario. You definitely, this is I know as caregivers of a child with chronic illness, it's so many decisions we have to make. I mean, it's so many. And I swear, we're whether to start them on a medication, whether they need to go see this um, specialists, whether they need to go outside with this temperature, whether they need to drink. It's so many decisions you have to make. And I can can just speak as a caregiver. It gets somewhat overwhelming, and you always want to get it right. You want to make the best decision for your child. So I too would say definitely pray about it. Okay. Consult with your physicians, your pediatrician, or the specialist. Listen to what they have to say, because they know your child medically, and they can make recommendations on what would benefit, because we're always talking about the risk, whether it's a new medication to start them on, whether it's to give them a blood transfusion, whether it's to give them exchange, whether it's to run this MRI. They're measuring the risk. What are the risks associated with that? So that's the same thing they would do with the vaccine. And those of you who follow me, no, we have been vaccinated for COVID. My husband and I, as well as Braden, and my husband and I as well, are boosted. And we made that decision and felt that that was best for our family. So that would be my suggestion, is to definitely again pray about it and talk to your medical providers and get their recommendations, and do what's best for you and your child to protect them. Thanks, Cherie, for that question. So, and I know, I think Mario, or maybe it was Princess, that touched on, because we were going to get to something about stigmas. There are some stigmas when it comes down to sickle cell warriors, and especially adult warriors, and one of which is that stigma of drug seeking when you go into the ER. That's one. Um, Mario, do you want to talk on about any other, or you want to share more
Well,
about that one stigma?
well, that's one. I guess that's the major one that we all see or probably feel. Is that when we ask them for more pain meds and stuff, they think that we're some kind of addict or something like that. Um, that's one that I feel like all the time. I really hate calling my doctor asking for a refill of my pain meds is one of the things that I dread the most, but I know I need to do it. So when I do it, I put on my most professional voice and you know, and put it in there, and ask what I need for, instead of, I turn the radio all the way down, or if I'm in the office, I shut the door so they don't hear anybody on the outside. I try to make it as professional as possible. So, they just don't be like, oh, well, because they, I guess they could deny me if they wanted to. And, but being that they know, who I am and everything, I still have that feeling that they may not feel no kind of way about me, but it's something that I've been, having to deal with, like when we was talking about the emergency rooms and things like that, depending on how you look or dress when you come in there, they might, and so I got to make sure that I got clothes on, unless it's very serious and the ambulance come get me or something, then it's a different case, but I got to put clothes on, make sure that I'm okay to go in there. I don't look disheveled or anything like that. Just to make sure that I look regular, and if that's that phrase I hate to use, but you know what I'm saying? It's just, you just don't want to have any red flags when you go in there to make them feel like you're in there just for some dope, and they, and they're not going to want to give it to you. They'll have you sit forever and, and just run IVs and not help you any. So, that's the stigma that I like. And, not like, but, that's one I would like to talk about. And one, just saying, people who just don't know sickle cell, and I put that just in the ignorance part, and for anything else, like when people say, oh, you're not really hurting, or, you're not feeling bad today, you in here, so you okay, and and they don't know that you're, probably powering through today or something like that, or that you really are in pain, but you're just not showing it because, you hurt all the time, so, but that's, I think, because people really don't know sickle cell, and how it affects, us, as a person, but the other ones thinking that you're a drug addict and stuff, that's one that get to you. I actually I was thinking about changing my doctors one time, and I was going to go to, I guess I did my research, and it was like a sickle cell place, and and they, and it was like the perfect facility that I think in my mind that I should go to. And I called and asked for a consultation. I said, I just want to come see the facility. I said, and so I don't know what happened. I guess somebody put me in as a new patient or something, but I would just come in to see the place, see how, clean it is, how they work. And as soon as I walked through the door, it was this lady, and she was like, go in the bathroom, don't wash your hands, and take this. And I'm like, well, what is it for? And she was like, don't do that, and then I went in there and I was like, well, I gotta pee. Excuse my language, but I'm like, why? And so instinct, I washed my hands afterwards. She came right in there. Now you got to do it all over. What did you wash your hands for? What is going? And I was like, lady, I don't even know what's happening here. I said, I just came to see this place. I'm not a patient. I just came to see, how y'all operate, and wanted to talk to a doctor, whoever was in charge or something, and I was like, but she straight got on me, and I was like, ma'am, I didn't know that I was supposed to do all that when I came here for a consultation. And I don't know if the things were crossed, but if that's how they treated their patients, I stayed with my doctor, and so I just stayed. And so, that, and when I had to talk with, the physician, I was like, that lady just came right in there and pushed me in the bathroom, and barked a couple orders, and then I did one wrong, and then she got all in my case. This is how I'm going to be treated when I come every time, and they, of course, they was like, oh, no, but I was like, no, this lady's been here for a while. This is what she does,
What she does.
this is what she does, and so I kindly, I seen the facility. It's a beautiful one. I liked it. Had infusion places, it's a good place. You know what I'm saying? And if it don't treat you like that when you go, if y'all go, and then I'm glad because it looks like a good facility. And but and that's how she treated me. And so from that point, I was just like, I'll stay with my doctor. I said, we got a good rapport. He know me. I was with his dad before his dad retired, and then he graduated from medical school, and I went under him with his dad's guidance, and I've been with that family of doctors for a long time, so I'm happy to stay there. But you always think about it, seeing if there's anything that you could do more, and
Right.
but yeah, I didn't like that feeling of. Now that's when I really felt like I was a druggie, and
Right.
no other place really treated me that way. They did, and I did not like that at all.
Right. Oh wow. Yeah. Just want to be treated as a person. That's what you are. That's Princess. Do you have anything to share on that? You want to talk about a stigma that you dislike, or either the same or a different one?
Well, that is definitely one, as he was saying, that is definitely one of the biggest stigmas there, And as well, as far as the doctor, to get your pain medicine, you have to be drug tested as an adult. You have to do all this stuff just to get pain medicine, to not that, because I get it, and I don't take this pain medicine every day. I need it as needed for pain. You understand? And sometimes it doesn't work, and sometimes I don't want to take it, and I just want to go. I don't want to go to the emergency room. I just want to go to the infusion center. But then you have a lot of red tape with that as well. And the other stigma that kind of bothers me, but I've learned to deal with, like my eyes are yellow from the sickle cell, and when people see you, they don't ask. They just automatically say, "Oh, you need to get your kidney checked," or this, that, the third, or they all automatically think something else. And I just stand there and look at them. I'm like, no. If you would have asked, I would have told you I have sickle cell, and this is the reason why my eyes are a little jaundiced.
Right.
That stigma definitely bothers me a lot as well.
Right. Right. And one other thing I know, when you're talking about pain, a lot of times that the pain that sickle cell warriors experience, well, most of the time, I think people, if they can't see the injury, they question, are you really in that much pain? And then we got to understand the labs don't always predict pain, you know? So, of course, I've learned that, your labs could be fine, but you could still be experiencing some pain because there's a whole lot of other things going on in the body. And it may not just show in a fingerprint or, the blood that they take, not just a fingerprint, because, you guys got to give tubes of blood to run tests. So that's the thing. It's almost like they call it the invisible illness because you can't see the pain. You can't see all of the internal damage that these sickle cells do in the body. So it's a complicated thing. And like Princess touched on, it's not always pain, alone. So because I think I heard one doctor said that, you know, anywhere blood flows in the body. So we know it's all over the body, in all major organs. There could be damage, or there's damage. So this is a complicated illness where you have to have so many specialists um, to be sure you take care of the whole you. Um, so, those are that's my little 2 cents. But Mario, is there anything else as far as stigmas or or complications that you could think of? Which I know there's a lot. There's a lot. Even
But yeah, I'm as far as me being a working adult now, that was something that I've always been leery of too, as far as the stigmas that go on with me calling out and things like that. Like I said, I've been at the Red Cross since I graduated college, and that's going on 21 years. So obviously, they understand a little bit about what's going on with me, but still, like when I got hired, that was something, in interviews, that's something that I tell people up front.
Okay.
Um, I don't wait until, I get in the door. I usually, yeah, if I try to be honest, like, hey, I'm just gonna let I want this job. I do have sickle cell anemia, and that's one thing that I feel, if I'm honest up front, at least they know, I'm not getting in and then gonna call out so many times, and may not want to work with me that way. So if they know up front, I feel better about myself when I, and things like that. I've, been through my, company through a few departments and everything, and and they all have been pretty acceptable of it. But every time I call out, I kind of feel bad, because I feel like, I'm letting my team down, and I'm letting I'm putting my work on somebody else, and and so I would even do things like beg to take a computer home, and knowing that I'm not supposed to be typing, my arms hurt and everything, but I'm laying in the bed, and it came after a while. They just told me, no, we're not going to let you do that anymore. If you're off, you're going to be off. Don't work or anything. And I think I said, like, last time, my director called me this time and told me, you know, that I need to stay home when I need to stay home. I mean, my entire team was worried about me, so they went above my head to tell on me, and it was all love, but
Yeah.
yeah, I try to be there for them and everything. So, I'm always available. So, I'll show up, and one day I just showed up and they knew I wasn't to the best of my ability and wasn't feeling well, and and they didn't like that, but I try to be there, if I can, even though I need to sit down, and and sometimes you need somebody to tell you to sit down, but
Absolutely.
it's good to have a place that understands what goes on with you,
Absolutely.
and don't let your coworkers, worry you or talk about you or want to find out anything. It's none of their business, long as the people who, are in charge of having you, employed, know how you feel and what's going on. Just worry about that. Don't worry about the stigmas of the job place. That's one thing I really never cared about, but people are gonna always have their opinions about something, so
Right.
you just work and do what you need to do, and as long as you and your superiors per se are in agreement, you just do what you need, and I'm here for 21 years, so I can contest, that somebody will keep you. In my mind, I felt like I would have 1,000 jobs by now, but
Right.
that just wasn't the case. But so it is possible.
Yeah. And that's really good, and that's fortunate, because I've heard stories from warriors who um hesitate to disclose that information beforehand, and just hope to be able to get through it. And one thing you made me remember about how you're describing what you worry about on your job is when you were talking about, we were asking, how can we help our children, what are they thinking now, and you mentioned how we got to remember that our warriors love us, and they don't want us to worry. So remember, we were talking about, as a child, you may not, like, I know I said with Braden, I could ask him, are you okay, knowing he's not okay, and he said, I'm good. So that kind of remind you grow up like that, don't want people to worry, and you got it. So that's what that reminded me of, Mario.
Yeah, because my staff and crew are my kids in a sense, so yeah, I got to watch out for them. So yeah, so I still don't want to let them know I don't feel good either. So because they need to not worry about me, and they will. So so I just try to hide all of that, but sometimes you just can't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta
like,
funk your
so
face up and let them know you don't feel good.
like you're going over and beyond, to get the job done, to make sure that everything is getting done, no matter how you feel.
Yeah.
It's like that, like you feel like you have to work a little extra harder.
Yeah. And I guess sometimes that could be a double-edged sword, huh?
Yeah,
Because sometimes you really need to sit down. and rest and hydrate and get yourself together and go. But if you keep going,
Yeah, you're gonna you're gonna lay yourself down, and that's what they tell you all the time. They was like, see, if you keep acting like this, you're gonna make yourself sick. And
mhm,
then you really can't be here, and so that's and so yeah, so you got to think about it, but it's hard, especially when you're feeling good. It's hard to take that time. So, but you
yeah,
got to work on it. It's a discipline thing, and I'm trying to work on it now. And but it took me forever and a day to get to this point. And when you're young, you really still want to, feel that youthfulness when you're, feeling good and stuff. But you still got to keep your eyes on it, and just make sure you slow down when you feel like 80%. You just gotta, all right, it's just, this is enough. But and that's about how you got to carry it. But
right,
just gotta watch out for yourself.
yeah. Princess, do you have any more input on that part as far as making sure you know your body after all these years, and when you're like, okay, I might be pushing it a bit much. Do you know? I know we talked about it last time. What is the trigger? One thing that if it happens, oh, I know I'm gonna, go into a sickle crisis or something like that. Do you have a trigger or something that can trigger a sickle cell crisis that you know is gonna happen?
uh, stress.
Stress.
I
That's
worry
stress.
it would definitely send me into a crisis. It
Mm,
definitely would. And yeah, I've been so far so good, trying not to uh, stress, because I know what it will do. And I've been doing okay, but I've still been having my little slight crisis. I had one this morning, well, last night I was asleep, I got up, but I worked through it, and still got, because in my head, I got to do this, I have to do that. So I have to work through this crisis here. And, but yeah, stress is one of the big things that'll bring it on for me.
okay. Yeah, that stress will get you now.
Yes, it will. It will.
Yeah. So we just make sure that we try to eliminate those things we know will cause us some stress. And
Yeah,
sometimes it's people, and you can't eliminate all the people out of your life,
you're
but
right.
you can control where you are, you know. So, okay, I know we're about running on an hour. And this has been a great discussion. You answered some good questions, gave the people what they needed. Let's close with something you want to leave uh, the listeners with. It could be a message for caregivers. It could be a message for a fellow warrior, or it could just be a message for the community member who want to support and learn more about sickle cell disease. Um, Mario, we're going to start with you. What is that closing remark you want to give, or advice, or encouragement, or motivation?
I would just say, no matter what side of it you're on, whether you're a caregiver or, someone with sickle cell, um, just keep being strong. On both sides, there are going to be times where, you're going to feel low and, a little bit disappointed and depressed about what's going on, because it ain't just the patient. Sometimes it's the caregiver as well, so, so you're going to feel like you're going to have enough and everything. But I need, the best thing to do is, just put more faith back into it and, get yourself, together because you're going to go down. I do it myself every time. So, you just got to bring your spirits back up, realize that you're in it for the long haul and, and you ain't giving up on anything, that's the one thing that you got to make sure you always remember is not to never give up. So long as you got that in your mindset, yeah, you'll stumble and you're going to have those days, but as long as you're not giving up, you'll get stronger and stronger and you'll keep pushing. So that's my thought. And for everybody, just keep pushing no matter what side you're on.
Thank you, Mario. Thank you. Princess, what's something you want to leave the people with?
Well, I definitely want to leave for the caregivers and the warriors that God don't put no more on you than you can bear. And I believe that this disease here that we are blessed to have, as I say blessed because I'm still here, he only gave it to the strongest people. You understand? Because only the strong survive. And that's just how I feel.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for that, Princess. And on behalf of the caregivers, I appreciate you all sharing your stories, um, answering some of our questions, giving us some insight. Because I know that's a lot of things I struggle with is kind of knowing what he's thinking. I don't know how he feels, but you've given me some idea of what he's feeling, but how I can do better in supporting him and what he needs. And then in it all, I can talk with you guys. I've connected with you all, and you all are part of my village now. Um, and it helps me as a caregiver to encourage me and motivate me to do what I need to do. So I definitely appreciate you. This won't be the last discussion. And for those who are listening, listening now or listening on replay, if you go back to the Be Strong Group Facebook page or our Instagram page, you will actually see some information on Mario sharing about a little bit of their story, what they would like to tell, their favorite quotes. Princess, too, she's on our page. She gave a shout out during Sickle Cell Awareness Month. So, and Gloria as well, from the perspective of being a warrior and a caregiver of a warrior. So, make sure you look that up. Go take a look at part one, and if you have any questions, you can still put them in the comments, and I'll make sure Mario and Princess see them and they can give you any feedback or comments. But I'm going to show, and we love the forgiving hearts. They are always listening. They gave, say that that's awesome to one of our discussions. And this was very enlightening. So I agree. I agree with them. So again, thank you all for listening. Thank you, Mario and Princess, for taking time out of your schedule for sharing. And we'll see you all at our next Tuesday chat. Take care,
All right.
everybody.
Y'all have a good night. Bye.
Good night, everybody.